Good afternoon, Town of LaPointe Regular Planning and Zoning Town Plan Commission. 4 o'clock, February 4th, 2026. Call to order, roll call.
Charles Brummer.
Jim Peters.
Amy Baxter.
Paul Wilharm.
Simone Socha.
Public comment, less than 1 minute. Zoning Administrator report.
All right, there is a handout that everyone should have. I'll keep it very short. Just from a high level, during the month, January was extremely busy again. A lot of the time was spent on the zoning ordinance rewrite. I distributed the current draft on December 30th. That led to 3 different meetings, TPC meetings during the month. January 7th for regular TPC, and then special TPC meetings on January 21st and 28th. And as of the end of January, 62 of the 131 page document had been reviewed by TPC. Also during the month, we issued the town's response to 2 complaints received, one for challenging a variance issued and a claim that a fence was in the right of way. I've worked with the complainants and the property owners and reviewed the files and issued both of those determination letters. Since those were issued, I have continued to coordinate with those involved as a final resolution is worked through. Conducted 2 site visits in support of the permit requests or future permit requests, issued 1 land use permit during the month, and prepared 2 data packages for tonight's meeting. And then continued identification and preparation of grant applications. Worked with Paul, airport manager, early in the month on the terminal replacement project. And then with emergency services, police and fire department, we submitted a grant application January 14th for Wiscom radios. And I've been working with the Madeline Island Ferry Line on 2 build grant applications that are due in about 2.5 weeks. So lots going on during the month of January. I think we as a team accomplished a lot.
Thank you. Approval of the previous minutes, special regular TPC meeting, January 28th, 2025. Anybody see anything?
On page 3, at the end of our discussion on the rewrite, so we're talking about long-term camping units. The last sentence in that first top paragraph, it said that the item G regarding requiring a rental permit for a long-term camping unit has been previously removed. The team decided to put it back in the draft ordinance. I'd rather see that say that to put, I think we were talking about retaining the language of a previous item G, no accessory dwelling currently exists on the property. So maybe say, instead of put it back in the draft ordinance, retain current language in the ordinance for G, and then quote unquote, no accessory dwelling currently exists on the property. And I think Jim did a good job of identifying that in his 2-page rundown of what we talked about last time.
Yeah, I can make that change. No problem.
Good.
Anybody else?
Make a motion to approve the regular TPC meeting of January 28th, 2026 with the noted correction.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have old business, but the first one is Brian's Road, and the applicant is supposed to be here but is not, maybe running late. So I think we should defer this until the applicant shows up, or at the very end if they don't show up.
I'll make a motion to move the Brian's Road change of use, Samantha and Jake Dobson, till when Sam gets here or at the end.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, old business, review, discuss, and possibly approve land use permit applications. And there's a 2194 North Shore Road, which is a shoreline lift.
Everyone has a handout, so happy to go through it or,
It looks like all the boxes are checked and
Yeah.
everything clean.
Mhm.
The issue.
This is just more or less because it's land disturbing activity,
yes.
because we don't issue land use permits for stairs to the lake either, correct?
Unless they're actually doing land disturbing activities. It depends. If they're, this is going to be augered in, into the ground, so that's why it's here. If stairs were to have, earth disturbance work, we would do the same.
I just didn't know where, in your office, where the line is crossed, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's talking to everyone, all the property owners and describing what the project is. And then we would make that determination if they're going to be doing land disturbance or going into the soil, then we would issue a permit.
Okay, yeah, I see no problem with this. I was just curious on like stairs to the lake. Whomever might build stairs to the lake, how often they come in looking for permits, but thank you for the explanation.
Make a motion to approve the land use permit for 2194 North Shore Road.
Second.
You can have it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Zoning ordinance rewrite status update. We're going to deal with that later here. Response letter to property owner regarding complaints received for wedding events, 951 Whitefish Lane, a status update.
Yeah, and this one, I reached out to the property owner on January 13th and last week on January 29th, not received a response yet. I will be calling them this week to continue that moving forward.
I have a question to just go back to zoning ordinance rewrite status update. You said it's gonna be covered later. Where is it covered later?
Oh, we're just going to be,
I don't see it anywhere else on the agenda, that's why.
oh, did it not make it?
Well, that's where we're going to go through page by page.
Mhm.
That's where
Do you want a motion to move it down to the end of old business?
Oh, okay.
Or move it down after new business?
Yeah, I'm sorry. When we had talked, we were going to move it to
Okay,
the end.
okay.
So what do you think, Jim? Do you want to move?
I'll make a motion to move item 5B zoning ordinance rewrite status update to occur after new business.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So some status updates on some complaints, building setbacks, determination letter issued 1/9/26.
Yes, so that was issued on January 9th. Had a couple of coordinations with the complainants. Just, advising you of that at this point.
Fence in the right of way, determination letter issued 1/21/26. I think we've got a copy of that.
Yes, so everyone has a copy of that. That was issued on January 21st. We did receive a phone call, and Max and I participated in a Zoom call last week with the Madeline Island Yacht Club, Elena and the Commodore. That fence is in the right of way. And one of the items that they wanted to, for us to bring to TPC that could ultimately go then to a town board is, other than moving it, what other options would be available? And that would include, either a variance or an easement, and to get TPC's input on that.
So it's just a portion of the fence, not the whole fence. And how much over is it?
Yeah, so it's about 100-foot portion that would be just to the east of the entrance into that area. There's kind of wings on either end that are on the property.
And you say 2.5 to 3 feet within the right? That's
Yeah.
how much it's into the right of
Yeah,
way.
so on the east end, it's 2.5 to 3 feet. And on the west end, it's 6 to 9 inches.
Yeah.
And it was probably built on the same spot that it was.
Well, and I talked to my cousin Leroy Deline, who worked down there. I wasn't alive in the late 60s. I wasn't born until 71, but he recalls that it was erected basically in the same place in either 68 or 69 when the yacht club was built by Ted Gary. So it hasn't moved since that he can recall, living here his whole life. So it was certainly there before zoning. It's not as though zoning requires a land use permit for fences, although we do require fences be, not in the right of way, obviously.
Right, and this one came to light because of a complaint in our research into that.
Correct.
So did that complaint go beyond where the fence was located? Wasn't there a parking issue too that was part of that complaint?
That part was not part of the complaint. The complaint was
Just strictly on.
fence constructed on town property right of way. That was the wording in the complaint.
Any other thoughts?
No, it's, they put the fence where the old fence was. The old fence was put where the previous fence was. It doesn't seem that it's creating a problem in any way where it is.
Well, and if you would have thought, since it was erected in 68 or 69, if it was a problem, the town at one point, at some point, would have raised the question, but they never did.
Yeah.
And what's that? 57 years
You get 7 years to raise an issue.
typically.
There's an
So,
encroachment.
I mean, the town board can do whatever they want to do, but I don't see it as being a major issue at this point in time.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a problem. It's not, no one's suffering because of it. There's not any real issues. I don't know that we need to do anything on this.
I
So
agree.
as far as it being resolved, then is there some sort of easement or what is a solution?
Well,
Are you saying that it's grandfathered because it's been there so long?
Well,
Before, it was there before zoning?
definitely before zoning, because zoning wasn't until May of 72. So if it was erected around, say, 68, 69, hell, even 1970, it predates the zoning ordinance. So,
there is some laws on it, like if you put up a fence and it's on your neighbor's property a little bit and 7 years go by and the neighbor doesn't say anything, the fence gets to stay. Is my understanding, but that statute can be double checked. But I think if push comes to shove on this, a variance would be the solution. But at this point, I would, just give it to the town board and let them decide.
I mean,
unless you or the town administrator have different thoughts that we're not.
well, I think it's to bring it to this group to kind of see what options and if there is a recommendation. I mean, I think of other properties that I've worked on in my time here where we had an issue with right of way and it ended up being an easement. That
Yeah.
was the solution. So
Or an easement.
Easement or variance, whatever it takes to,
either.
I think an easement might be even a little
probably
easier
easier.
and
Yeah,
less expensive.
yep.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's within the town's right of way. There's no disputing that. But again, it's also been there for 57 years, 58 years, one could argue. And
Yeah.
after that length of time, you think if it would have been a problem, something would have reared its ugly head before now.
So I mean, as a collective group and the TPC, we don't have an issue, but, let the town board see if they have an issue.
So you basically, I think in summary, all three of those options, moving, easement or variance are viable and appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah, because a fence doesn't need you know, as long as it falls within the parameters, you know, height, in fact, it has, you know, when you build a fence now, again, this was erected before zoning. Now you would have to make sure the fence is on your property, not in the right of way. But we don't issue, you know, I don't think we have never, that I can recall, issued a permit and expected fees for someone to build a fence.
Right.
And the height's 10 feet.
Correct. And that's well below that anyways.
Yeah,
But at the same time, we have to remember if we make a recommendation that it go to the town board for discussion, it's just gonna come back to us. But we may have some direction then from the town board as to which way they would like to see it handled.
right.
I think that's fine.
I'm good.
Okay,
So I'm gonna make a recommendation to the town, at the town board, look at this issue and come back to us with the recommendation. I think it's by consensus.
yep,
Yep.
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you. Potential zoning and UDC violations.
Yeah, and this is one, we've been exchanging emails with the property owner. There will be a meeting soon on that.
Okay. Home business and zoning district R3.
And those two are both started in process as we work our way through all the complaints.
Yep. So that covers commercial storage and W1 as well, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Holding tank options update?
Yeah, this very short, I did coordinate with DSPS over the past week. And they indicated that in Adams County and Barron County, those two counties do allow something similar to what we've been talking about. I received an email from, I believe it was Adams County late in the day yesterday and Barron County earlier today with their language that I'm going through, and I'll bring that back to the group when I have a little bit more time to summarize it.
On those holding tanks, that are those people that would have them, are they required to use it for black water and gray water both?
It didn't break it out from, I skimmed both of them. I need to go back through more in detail. I didn't see that broken out, but it was more of, one of the counties was any size would be allowable, but you couldn't have a principal dwelling. That it's just an interim phase to get you through to you have a dwelling, that you have to sign a contract with one of the waste removal companies and do like an annual report on it. I do plan on at the next meeting, you know, having more details on that for us to explore. But we're making progress.
It's my understanding that gray water can't just be dumped onto the ground.
Right, but people do it.
Yeah,
You know, that's why if we enact something on these smaller holding tanks, that we have something in there that would state that gray water has to be in that tank also.
Yeah, and what,
Help, you know, dilute.
Dilute it.
yeah, and what I'll prepare for the next meeting, we're just a small part of this. I mean, the Madeline Sanitary District is instrumental.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well as Ashland County, because they would have to make an amendment to their ordinance as well. So this has a long ways to go. It's just gathering data so that we can make an informed decision and coordinate, more importantly, with Madeline Sanitary District in Ashland County.
Yes.
thanks. Sixth Street vacate request.
Just waiting for a survey to arrive for our next steps.
Okay, thanks. Permit extension process.
Honestly, the next four are really just placeholders
Okay,
so that we don't lose them.
all right. New business lot dimensional requirements.
Yeah, and there is a handout in everyone's package, but this is something that I think if we defer this till we get to section 16 in the zoning ordinance, that's where it probably is best discussed.
Okay, thanks. Potential splitting of a lot, healing motion.
Yeah, and you should have a handout that as well. This is where the property owner of where Healing in Motion Wellness Center is located reached out to me probably a week and a half ago and is looking to potentially split off Healing Motion into, it would be its own separate lot. And wanted to get some guidance on feasibility and options and are there any constraints? So with the property owner, I created an exhibit that everyone has that shows there's actually two lots that are next door to each other that he owns, each 200 feet wide.
Side by
And,
side?
Side by side, yes.
I don't have it.
So, and then there's a green square on there that represents a garage that we approved, I think in October. And then there's a red dotted line that's kind of an artist's rendition line of kind of where that property line would be.
This one,
Yes, yes. So, and it would have to conform to, the setbacks of 40 feet, so that lot would remain, if those two lots were combined, it would remain above 3, which is the minimum lot size for S1. I came up with like 3.7. But then there is, to further complicate it, there is a conditional use permit that was agreed to in June of 2022. And that's also attached, that has a couple of conditions. Since there's only 2, read them, adhere to the requirements for a home business in the town of La Pointe zoning ordinance. And the second one is the conditional use permit will expire upon transfer of the property. So that introduces some interesting language in that it's a home business, but if this lot were split, then there is no home with it. But then the second part of that is that the conditional use permit would expire upon transfer of the property. So if that piece were allowed to be separated, does then the conditional use permit go away? And just bringing it to the group to talk about what some of the options would be, if there are any, and what we think, because ultimately this will come to us to.
they applied for a condition, for a change of use permit yet?
No.
Okay. I would just say that they just have, that you need to make them aware of these 2 conditions on their conditional use permit and let them decide.
Let them
what they wanna do
decide.
from there.
Okay.
There's no way it's gonna fly. They'll be in conflict with both of these conditions.
I think, yeah, because if they split it up, it's not, where's the home on that lot? There's
Right.
no home unless they intend to build a house on that lot.
So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean,
Yeah.
that was my concern talking with Rich initially, so I don't know how they can do it. And yeah, I mean, if you create a new LP number for it, well, it's not on the same parcel.
the only real option would be, to apply for a brand new conditional use permit. But I'm not sure that even that would work because, by subdividing it, it's basically commercial in a area that's not zoned commercial. So there wouldn't be any option for a home business with that. So, but I think for the time being, just refer the applicant to these 2 clauses and let them decide.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's the best procedure.
So
Yeah.
then after sharing those, and I'm happy to do that, then is really the next step for them to review that and then formally submit a change of use.
If that's what they want to do, sure.
Yeah.
They're within their right to apply for any kind of permit, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so they're aware of that there are some conflicting issues.
Okay. I'm good. I can work with that.
Thanks, Rich.
Okay, so let's see, the next The applicant's here for 772 Bryan's Road, so maybe do we need a motion to go back to that or?
I said when she got here. so I
Oh,
think we're-
perfect. So we're good. Review, discuss, and possibly approve land use permit application 772 Bryan Road, change of use.
Give a little background on this one.
Sure. A change of use, application was submitted, January 8th. And it's to go from an accessory structure to, a primary dwelling. The application was filled out completely and accurately. The application, is signed and fees paid. As far as the site, staked, measured, and meets all, setback requirements. So, the structure itself is not being dimensionally modified. It is converting what was going to be a garage to a dwelling. There was a variance that was granted on the side setback. It was a 40-foot variance that was granted when the requirement is 50 feet. And that was through the appropriate process, and a determination was made in December of 2024. It's more than 1,000 feet from the lake shore, so an Ashland County permit is not needed. Sanitary permit per Ashland County zoning. There was a holding tank that already exists on the property, and it was legally installed and inspected in 2001. And Ashland County was actually able to find a copy of all of that from 25 years ago. And I did copy to the property owner. And confirmed with Ashland County zoning that nothing additional is needed, that it can be tied in. There's no wetlands identified at the proposed build site. It's not a non-conforming lot. And the UDC permit, been working with Steve Schroffnagel, town inspector, who was already working with the property owner on that. So, right now, the handout that everyone has that says conditional approval, and that's really changed since we talked yesterday to strictly approval, because what we were waiting on is we were waiting on a sketch from the property owner so that Steve could start doing his review. And that was dropped off yesterday morning. I scanned it and sent it to Steve Schroffnagel yesterday. Also provided a copy to the property owner as well. I coordinated with Steve Schroffnagel yesterday afternoon to get his input on the floor plan. And he was comfortable and felt that we could go forward tonight with just an approval and not a conditional approval. Steve's going to be working with the property owner throughout, doing the appropriate inspections and making sure that everything is going well. But he saw this, he liked it. He's going to continue working with the property owner. So I did a site visit on January 30th. There's a couple of photos that are attached from that visit. I believe Steve could be out as early next week to do some site visits. I don't know if this one is on his list or not, but everything is moving in the right direction now, and everyone is comfortable with what's happening.
So the UDC permit has not been issued yet?
No, it's very close. He didn't give me an exact time frame, but he got what he needed to continue on with his review. And that was one of the important things to me yesterday was, we get information on a lot of these, right? That is very close to the meeting. And that's why I called him yesterday and made sure that, he was comfortable. And like I said, we changed it. I didn't want to put yet another one of these in everyone's inbox, but we talked about, removing the word conditional because Steve felt comfortable and with what he had and, you know, a UDC will be issued shortly.
Do you normally wait to issue a land use permit until you have the UDC?
No.
permit?
No, we issue the land use permit.
As long as things are in the process.
Yes, yes. So, and I don't know how it was done previously. I know that the land use permit would be issued and then there would be a UDC that would follow. One of the things that's
Sometimes.
yes, that's important to the town is that we coordinate with Steve throughout all of these because we would like the land use permit and the UDC to be as close to the same time as possible. That allows the property owner to continue on with their project and we're not slowing them down. So, but no, we issue the land use permit and then UDC in the appropriate situations, you know, ultimately does follow at the appropriate time.
What would be the recourse if the UDC permit doesn't get issued for whatever reason?
Well, that would be Steve working with the property owner to rectify any deficiencies.
Okay, so
That,
they've somehow worked things out.
yes, yeah, and Steve does a fantastic job and is working with all of the property owners, you know, to get through this process to not impact their timelines.
I'll make a motion that we approve the land use permit for 772 Bryan's Road and the change of use.
I'll
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, zoning rewrite. Back to the on section 5, signs at the beginning.
So before we jump into that, everybody got a copy of the
Yep.
items that we talked about.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions on any of those before we go forward?
I think it looks great, thanks.
Yeah,
The only thing is with the frontage, we feel like we should have that similar diagram like Violet.
the frontage.
Frontage, we had that, the first thing on your definitions, and we had that diagram from Vilas County.
Right.
You think that's worthwhile putting in there? I think.
Yeah,
kind
if
of
if you look at the end of that paragraph, it says reference section 16.6 of the ordinance.
And then have it in
That's,
there.
that's where it's.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
And like we talked about taking, density issues out of the different zones, so they're gone and taking out cemeteries and a lot of areas. So if nobody has any questions, we'll just.
I think the language is as good as you're going to get it. I mean, people can have they can say, well, what's smaller, a smaller lot, what kind of, I mean, you can nitpick down to whatever. So I think we're done discussing that. Good job.
So with all your input, I just had to take notes on it.
We ready for section 5, signs, page 63?
I don't know.
64?
For L, temporary on-premise signs advertising an event, we have 2 things, criteria under there. Shouldn't we also have something like number 3 that says only 1 event per every 30 days? Otherwise, what's to prevent someone from having signs up all the time? I know it says only 2 signs per event, one the day prior to, and shall be removed the following the event. But should there also maybe be some sort of a time limitation? Otherwise, what's to prevent someone from having a sign up like practically all the time? Kind of defeats the purpose of temporary on-premise signage.
So what was the language you'd like to?
I would, and this is my suggestion under 3, only 1 event per every 30 days. And I think these sort of events are probably going to have to go through the town board anyhow.
Right, yeah.
There's probably gonna be some sort of a fee associated with it. What that is, who knows? $50, $75, who knows?
Did we have anything in there on these events? Somewhere else in the ordinance?
As far as signage for an event,
Well, as far as the event itself and how many times the event could take place.
I don't think for this there is.
Okay,
We can add that to once every 30 days.
only one event every 30 days.
I think there has to be something, otherwise it,
Yeah, go on and on and on.
Okay,
Anything else on 64?
um. On number 6. No sign shall be located on a lot to reduce the required side yard requirements of the zoning district in which is located. The sign may be in the lot's front setback, provided it doesn't interfere with passage of vehicles, pedestrians. Yeah. My concern has been in the past, people putting up sandwich boards on the sidewalk downtown in cases.
Yep,
I've seen that in the summer. I myself have had to walk out into the lane of traffic because it's a stupid sandwich board blocking the sidewalk. As long as it says something in there, and I guess it does with pedestrians, that should cover that, but that's something that has to be looked at a little.
well, this is a boilerplate statement because it says visibility of traffic control signals.
I don't think someone should get hit by a car because they're going around a sandwich board in the sidewalk either.
Right.
Just some pet peeve of mine. Nor do I think a sign should be put out in the middle of a traffic intersection, which I've seen in the past too.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway. I know we took out something on permanent off-premise directionary signs that advertise a business activity, area of interest, or service available at a specific location with 12 air miles. If the premise on which it is located, unless classified as a Class D sign, something along that. I think we need somewhere in there. I don't know, if it should be left in or. I know it was Class E signs, off-premise directionary signs. I still think that should be in there somewhere. I know members of this board think otherwise, but. I think it should be left in the ordinance.
Do you feel, Jim?
I think we took it out because we thought it was, not very well written or understood, and it just didn't seem necessary at the time.
Yeah, I guess I disagree. I think it's important, much like the introduction, why we have signs and sign control in the ordinance to protect against scenic blight, whatever terminology you want to use, but yeah.
Well, the way it was written, I'm gonna read it. Says off-premise directory signs in the specific interest of the traveling public that advertise a business activity, area of interest, or a service available at a specific location within 12 air miles of the premise on which it is located, prohibited. I don't understand the 12 air miles. I don't see where an off-premise sign is used where it's a problem. I can't think of off-premise signs anywhere other than directory signs like where the marina is or the library and the church is or town hall.
Well, if we're going to allow temporary signs, which we just discussed. Maybe we just say a permanent off-premise directionary sign. Get rid of the 12 air miles. Because if it's prohibited anyways. I mean, this has only become an issue seemingly in the last few years. This has been in the ordinance for a very long time. And I know it's one individual is pushing it to no end, but
Mhm.
it's not to say he's going to be the only one with signage all over the place. That's my concern. And it takes away from, if you read the purpose, the intent, the objective of why we have a sign ordinance, it kind of is opposite of that, in my estimation.
Yeah, there's even directionary signs, you know, for the reservation on the north end of the island.
But again, that's more, and it could be governmental, I don't know. I think the town board did that
Yeah,
at one time. It's just like signage to the dog park, which is something that's public, or signs to the restroom. You know, you've got it. I understand the reasoning behind that, but if you start having off-premise directionary signs at every freaking intersection, and I still think in this day and age with phones, Google this, Google that, I think you could find your business.
Except then you don't have service in some parts of the island, so then you're lost.
Wasn't that part of the adventure of coming over here? I don't know what to say. I mean, why are we here? We're here because this place is in Hayward. It's not Minocqua. If you like that stuff, go to Hayward, go to Minocqua. I'm just saying.
Permanent off-premise signs that you're concerned about, these are business signs?
Just commercial.
Yes, commercial signs,
Mhm.
advertising a business activity. Or service available at a specific location. If you want to get rid of that area of interest, is that gets to things of like the dog park
In the library.
and the library and bathrooms. If you need to go, that's an area of interest. But, and you get rid of the location within 12 air miles. And then I would say unless classified as a Class D sign, which is what we were talking about, or with temporary off-premise special event signs. Correct?
The Class B signs?
D as in David.
Oh. Okay, that's something completely different. That's special events. That you're talking, your concern is more about permanent
Mhm.
off-premise commercial signs.
Correct.
Let me come up with some language and I'll bring it back to the next meeting to cover that.
Okay.
And you want that inserted?
As number 9 underneath B.
Okay,
You have
yep,
8 here
Yep.
now at the
Got
bottom. For and again, this is going to a public hearing, so
right.
we can hear about why it should be left in or why it should be taken out again, but I think it should be left in there for now.
Okay.
And it can get scrutinized by the public.
This is all under type 3, right? Business or service in the commercial zone. I'm trying to figure out where you are. There's 4 and 5. I don't see 9.
He wants it added on the bottom of page
It's
64,
at the bottom of prohibited characteristics of signs, Sue Ellen.
number
Okay,
9. He wants it to be number 9.
I see. I'm on the wrong page. Okay, 9. I think we have to be careful with signs. I think that the verbiage has to be just right. Or we'll have them everywhere. You know, other places allow companies to buy one sign, directional sign or advertising sign to put on the signpost. Only one is allowed, and then they pay money into the town. Now, I don't know how that would fly with everybody. I still think the dog park ought to have a sign
Well,
instead of the little
cha-
one that's down by the front.
the Chamber of Commerce can pass out maps.
Or what?
Businesses,
For what?
for businesses.
Yeah. Maps at the Chamber of Commerce where the businesses are located, which they
Oh,
already
yeah,
kind
well,
of,
we give
they
out
already kind
tons
of
and
do, but
tons and tons and tons of that, yeah. Thousands.
anything else on signs?
Not on 64. Around 65, I think.
Yep.
Under type, class C signs, B2, type 2, such signs we cross out including bulletin boards shall not exceed 12 square feet in area. Was that also included not illuminated in there? For a public charitable home business, home occupation? My concern is if you're gonna have a lighted sign for a home business, home occupation in a rural residential area. I thought that was included somewhere currently in there. So you can have a 12 square foot sign, but can it be illuminated or not? I think we should spell that out. Because right now it isn't specific enough.
Well, under, back on page 64. 4. That's, for all signs, that they can't have moving parts, illumination by flashing lights.
Okay,
Oh,
well, if you think it's covered here,
yeah. I mean, those are, prohibited characteristics of sign, and that covers all signs.
Mhm.
okay, good enough. Then under type 3, business or service in a commercial zone. We're talking about feather flags shall not exceed 30 square feet in area, no more than one sign per property.
Yeah.
When we're talking about freestanding signs, should this, although we talked about it earlier to some extent, again, should a freestanding sign, which would be like a sandwich board, is this someplace we'd want to include some verbiage about not being placed in traveling public, like on a sidewalk, or do you think that's covered previously, Jim?
Well,
No, I think we should put it in because somebody's gonna put it on a sidewalk, sure as shooting.
But it's already in number 6B, prohibited,
B6.
B6. Can't be in the way of pedestrians.
Yeah, if we think it's covered previously, I'm fine with it. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
making.
mean,
note
right
as I
here,
go.
the sign may not be in the lot's front setback, so,
Okay, good enough.
yeah.
I'm just making notes as I'm going through this because there's a lot of changes.
Enforcing this is a different thing.
Well, yeah, I read that. Page 66, if you're up under type 5, business and service in non-commercial zone. You're increasing that sign square footage up to 30. Previously in section 6.4, home occupation, home business, which I would assume is a business or service in a non-commercial zone. The limitation is 12 square feet, not 30, so this contradicts the previous 12 square feet to 30 by quite a bit. Is there a reason for that?
probably we measured somebody's sign and came up with that. But I guess if you look at the paragraph for it, for type 4 resort or recreational business, and that says 20 square. So I don't see why type 5 in a business or service in a non-commercial zone shouldn't be down to 20 also.
Or 12, because if you look on that same page, Jim, under B2, type 2, public charitable, home business, home occupation, there it says shall not exceed 12 square feet. Should this also be 12 square feet and not 30 square feet?
No matter what it says, they can't be conflicting.
No,
Well, actually, the old ordinance doesn't have a size at all. It says, you're talking about business or service in a non-commercial zone.
Correct.
It says a feather flag, banner, or Gideon are permitted no more than one such sign per property.
Yeah, and well, to be consistent with what it says back as type 2, class C type 2 signs, I think that should be 12.
Okay, where was that now?
Previous page 60,
Okay,
5.5 B2, type 2, public charitable, home business, home occupation, or religious institutions. That's limited to 12 square feet in area.
Yeah.
And I don't want this as being some sort of a loophole. So it should all be 12.
Consistent.
To be consistent, I don't want to use the term loophole.
Except somebody will find
Page
it.
66, type 5, instead of 30, 12.
Yeah, correct.
Because this just talks about feather flags, banners and whatnot, not the actual sign itself. I mean, it's using an example of the feather flag or a banner.
But you can put advertising on a feather flag banner or Gideon just as well. You could a sign.
Yeah.
That's what I'm basing.
So
it
that
on.
pretty much gets rid of the feather flag because, all these feather flags are more than 12 square feet. So like, Greg out there with a feather flag, that's gonna be more than 12 square feet. So
Oh, yeah.
if we change it to 12, then,
I've never measured that feather flag out at Greg's, let's say, but you think that's much more than 12 feet in height? If it's a foot wide?
yeah,
more than 12.
yeah, both dimensions would be bigger than
But do you think it's 30?
square feet.
Yeah.
No,
I haven't looked at his. I did remember I went online and looked at feather flags that they were selling. And I think that's where I came up with those dimensions.
30 square feet. Just seems like a lot.
yeah, it does. How many other feather flags are around there? His is the only one I know of.
Not as many as there used to be.
With 20 square feet.
Well, it's basically a second sign on a person's property.
It
So,
is.
I think obviously you're giving someone, something for that. I don't think it should be. And it's going to be in a non-commercial zone. It's in a residential zone. So, and that should be taken into consideration too. I mean, I'm not advocating for one of those crazy things that the car, that's going like this either, but
Well, that moves, so that wouldn't be allowed. Yeah,
wind power.
but a feather flag is a segue to what you just described.
Mhm. Well, if you want to try 20 square feet,
Yeah, I'm concerned if we go down to 12, that enforcement's just gonna be.
Well, what do we do about the previous?
but they must have different size feather flags. Is there just one size feather flag?
No, but they're more common size, and that's
Okay.
like the ones that I found.
Well, that'd be my only concern. I'm not saying we can't have people having a feather flag,
Right.
which is a second sign. I just don't want to see something that's 1 foot by 30 feet sticking way up in the air either. I don't know. I guess I've never measured them either.
One like that because they couldn't get enough.
Well, I'm saying, 30 square feet
Yeah.
in a non-commercial area is a lot of area. And they could put something on there advertising their business, I suppose, if you wanted to be creative about it.
Well, whatever we do, we have to be consistent. The previous page says feather flag shall not exceed 30 square feet. If we're gonna go to 20, we gotta change that.
You want to try 20 square feet because it's a banner, feather flag.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. It's not quite the same as the previous page. but
Right.
At the same time, I don't want to see this because it's outside the commercial
Well,
zone.
let's
Getting
change,
out of hand.
let's change it to 20 and see what the
Okay.
public hearing brings.
Fair enough.
Are we gonna change to 20 on page 65?
No, that's.
No, because that's the actual sign.
That's the actual sign. We're talking about feather flags and
This
banners.
is feather flag shall not exceed 30 square
She's
feet.
talking about right here
Yeah.
in the commercial zone. It says feather flag there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the page before, we were talking about the actual sign of the business being 12 square feet.
Yeah. But that feather flag shall not exceed 30 square feet under type 3. And then if we're changing under type 5 to 20, shouldn't it
But
be
it's,
consistent?
yeah, it's only mentioned as a type 5 flag, being a feather flag or banner.
So what are we gonna do?
We're gonna change the 30 to 20.
In
And then on the
both.
previous page, we're leaving it at 30?
No, we're leaving that at 12, I thought.
No, it's here. It's
Right here.
30 on this page too,
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
but
but
that's
this-
commercial.
it's commercial. This is not,
Yeah, that's the difference.
that's the difference.
That's, to
Okay.
me, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with 30 in the commercial. I mean, it's commercial, but when you start getting out into the residential zones, I'm not saying people shouldn't have the opportunity to, have a sign, but they also have to realize you're not in a commercial zone. I don't know why that's so hard to understand at times.
because they don't wanna,
67, removal of signs.
Real quick on 66, again, on Class D signs, where it says temporary off-premise special events. Do we need anything that defines temporary or?
Are you at C?
Yeah, C Class D signs, yeah, on page 66.
Well, there's special event signs and that has a,
Not,
you have to fill out for that.
yeah, but not every special event is a private special event. A lot of them are public special events that the town is promoting. Like the,
Music in the park,
the marathons and,
blood drive.
yep. So, but because it says shall require the authorization of the town board, we're covered.
Okay,
yeah, let them worry about it.
good enough.
It's on page 66, 5.6 classes and types of signs permitted in zoning districts. If you look at page 68, we came up with a different. And I think you could eliminate 5.6 entirely. Because when I look at that, it's very confusing as to what's allowed. I mean, it's hard to read.
Yeah.
And the matrix is pretty straightforward. You look at, if you're in whatever zone or you can look right across and see what's permitted and what's not. So,
It's just duplicate, but
yeah, it is. But we came up with that new matrix just to make it easier for people to read it.
Yeah, it's more user friendly.
Yeah,
and a great
definitely.
idea.
On your matrix under C1 over by C-5. There's an X there, but I don't see it in C1, C5. The class, the zoning district C1, the class sign is C5. What's a C5 sign?
Well, we definitely need to double check the matrix to make sure our ducks are in a row.
Yeah, that's a good point, Charlie. I think that one would come out.
Yeah,
I mean, at least for the commercial district, yeah.
Right. Yeah, because that, the C5 is, talks about a business and service and a con. I'll go back and cross reference that to make sure that that matrix is correct.
I guess I don't care whether it's spelled out or in matrix form, as long as it's in there. If you want to have this, the sign matrix as 5-6, that's fine.
yeah.
It is more user friendly.
you ready for section 6?
If you are.
Mm-hmm.
Junkyards. Huh?
Page 69.
the junk salvage yard verbiage is more or less in tune with what the state is, right?
Correct.
What else can you do right now?
Page 70. $71.
Under accessory dwellings, number 2. And if we see number 25 definitions, I think we need to reinsert under 2, only one accessory dwelling shall be allowed per parcel. That's fine, but it should also read, shall not exceed 65% of the square footage of the principal dwelling, or,
You can just state where else the accessory.
yeah, well, it's underneath definitions right now, and it was taken out of here for whatever reason, but I think it has to be put in there. It shall not exceed 65% of the square footage of the principal dwelling, or up to 1,500 square feet, including decks, whichever is the lesser, see definitions if you want to include that.
We can add it back in just to,
That's why I added back in if it's covered under definitions.
Well, in case someone comes to here and they don't read definitions.
Charlie, you could go through this thing and every time you mention, conditional use permit, then you gotta explain what a conditional use permit is,
Yeah, but I think it's important here, Jim, because we're talking about an accessory dwelling,
right?
and it was in there before. I don't see it being that redundant to have it in there. Because what, then why don't you just get rid of number 2 altogether?
It doesn't hurt to remind people, redundant or not.
I think it's important to have it in there because
well, let's put it back in.
Yeah.
Drive the nail head flat with the ball.
I can understand the desire to change this stuff. We don't have to change stuff for the sake of changing things. There were town plan commissions before that worked long and hard on this to get to this point, so. Me too.
Yep. 72 looks good.
So in 73, number 1, talk about all activities at the site, and this is under home occupation, must be conducted entirely within the principal dwelling or in one accessory building.
Mhm.
In the previous language, say not larger than 25% of the principal dwelling, something like. Yeah, the original language was all activities at the site must be conducted entirely within the principal dwelling or in one accessory building not larger than 25% of the principal dwelling.
Let's put that back in.
I think that should be back in because it was a home business, yes, but it's a home occupation, which is a lesser use, obviously.
Although,
Any
although at the
concern.
same time, if they're doing something inside a building, who cares how big it is? Not like they're doing it outside. That's my thought, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. It's all subject to a public hearing.
20 years ago, we didn't have a home occupation or a home business.
No.
People forget that too. So it's not, I mean, it's in the comprehensive plan. I get it. I'm for it, but there has to be some
Limitations.
limitations when you're going into residential area. Otherwise, let's just make the whole island commercial, go Ashland County zoning and
Mhm.
Anything else on 73?
Well, I was thinking at the end of home occupation, but this gets to Jim's things about redundancy. Just talking about signage following the requirements of Class C Type 2 signs, 5.5B2, but if it's already under the signage, if everything matches, that's fine.
Well, I mean, you take something like number 6 here, no machinery, tools, or appliances shall be used that cause excessive noise, dust, odors, or exhaust. Well, excessive noise, is that determined by the decibel level,
Yeah.
that's published?
Yep.
So much decibels before 10 PM and then the decibel level goes down.
Mhm.
Well, it requires a permit, so then once you apply for a permit, all that other stuff should fall in
Yeah.
order. And then the only other thing under home business, we're raising the number of persons, business activities under home business, A to maybe carried out by persons residing in the dwelling or no more than 6. Was that 6 before? Or was it less? Was that 5?
Might have been 4.
It was 5.
Was there a reason to go up to 6 or 5?
I have no recollection of that whatsoever.
Do you think 5 is enough for home business? I kind of think it is.
Even 4.
I'm just making notes as I go.
I think 4 is plenty for a home business.
Well, if it said 5 before, I'm fine with 5.
Yeah.
Let's stay at 5.
Yeah. I'm not busting a nut over that. It's just stuff I jot down as I'm going through. I have nothing on 74.
5. Anything on 76? It's like in 77, there's no changes.
The only thing on 78 underneath where it says the town plan commission shall establish date for a public hearing, blah, blah, blah. Class 2 notice under Wisconsin state statute shall be published in the Ashland Daily Press. Do we have to specifically say the publication? I don't know how much longer the Ashland Daily Press is going to be around, quite honestly. We just want to say shall be published and not specify where.
I think state statute says it has to be in the local newspaper.
Yeah.
Can we
local
just
paper.
write that instead of specifying the Ashland Daily Press?
Yeah, just local paper.
Our local paper might be the Gazette.
Well, then, can we?
Well, there's
But what I'm saying is, can we just leave it generic somehow?
There's another rag that you can look at the fast food places in Ashland, and there's actual publications in that too.
Bottom line news?
Something like that.
I like the bottom line news. Bottom line news is great.
Go with whatever the state says on that.
I just don't want
I'm
to,
not sure what their wording is, but I think it's.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, why be specific? I mean, otherwise,
Well, leave Ashland Daily Press in, but just add or another local
that's
paper.
fine too. I just don't want to see us get stuck with down the line in case the Ashland Daily Press dissolves or something, or it becomes something else. Maybe it's not a big deal.
Only publishes once a month.
Right.
Exactly. I'm just saying,
Putting back.
I like Paul's idea, that's fine.
So where you're on page 78?
78,
Yeah,
number
78.
4, right past where you had the red strikeout, shall be published in the Ashland Daily Press, or what Paul said,
Another
Another
local,
another
Local
local
paper.
publication, whatever.
yeah, instead of paper publication's a better word.
Okay.
I like that idea, that works.
Okay.
On to 79. No changes on 80. Little one here, strikeout.
Right around the 30-day period for issuance of the CUP shall be shared. Is that 30-day issuance of a CUP statutorily in there? I mean, so this is saying that it can be shortened or waived by the town board's discretion. After 30 days following the town's board decision, the clerk shall approve the permit, then 30-day period for issuance shall be short. I'm just thinking if there's an appeal, does that give someone enough time who might want to appeal the decision? I don't know. Was that in the old? It was.
I would think that would get more scrutiny from the town's attorney.
Yeah, the town's attorney's looking at all this anyway. Well, I'm still under the old school thinking that it should not even go to the town board, it should go to the Board of Appeals, like 95% of the rest of the state, but we're unique, I know that.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the old ordinance, so it must be fine.
Well, not necessarily, or we wouldn't be changing anything.
No, but it's the same as what it was before, so it must have went under some scrutiny by Auerbach at one time. Rest in peace.
You want to keep on trucking, section 8?
What is? There are a lot of, there's not much in there.
Well, there's a lot of red ink and crossouts.
Well, there's a lot to go.
Basically telling us about Rich's duties, what he can do, what he can't do. And there's no drastic changes. I know there's a lot of red ink, but
Yeah,
As far as I'm concerned, he has surpassed all his duties.
Right.
exceeding industry standards.
Yes, absolutely. It's gonna be a hard act to follow someday.
Page one, Paul.
82.
82, 83, we're just kind of. Anything on 82, 83, I'm up to 84.
I'm up to 86 on extension and expiration, but we already talked about the extension of 12 months, whether we should
Yep,
go more than 12 months. I know it's in here as 12 months. We sticking with 12 months? The extension, I forget where we like that.
87?
87, correct.
Yeah, okay, down on that top paragraph, the number 2 extension, blah, blah.
Yep.
We're gonna add B that, and I can't remember the exact wording, but it's basically you can renew your permit as long as you want, but every time you do, it's double the previous fee.
And when you extend it each time, it's only 12 months?
12
Yeah,
months.
that's-
12
I think
months.
now I remember. Yeah. So that'll be included under 2.
Yes,
Yep, sounds good. Yeah, double fee,
yeah, I'll get that wording.
12 month.
The next update.
No,
And,
that's good.
and at some point in time, you know, that dollar figure could match the dollar figure of a brand new permit. So
Mhm.
Double the fee, 12-month extension for extension, basically. Okay, very good.
$88,
No.
$89. $90.
On 9.2, page 90, the last sentence, it says total enclosed square footage of building proposed addition shall not exceed 2,000 square feet. We also include something or 1,500 square feet of it if an accessory dwelling. This doesn't differentiate. I mean, the only thing that I'm worried about is if you say, this is obviously a non-conforming structure, then we're contradicting if we have an accessory dwelling that we're saying is 65% or 1,500 square feet. But here it says, oh, now I can go up to 2,000 square feet. You follow what I'm saying?
Right?
Yeah, but this is a non-conforming structure.
But what if the non-conforming structure is an accessory structure? This doesn't differentiate between a primary or an accessory, does it? I'm just saying, just simply add after, I'm not complaining about 2,000 square feet if it's the principal, but then I would add or 1,500 square feet if an accessory dwelling.
Okay.
These are additions.
But it also says total enclosed square footage of building and proposed addition. So that'd be the entire area, right?
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's a little bit convoluted because it's not differentiating between dwellings and accessory.
Yeah, because it's a non-conforming structure. Maybe that should get cleaned up. I don't know.
That last sentence in B says the total enclosed square footage of the building and proposed addition shall not exceed 2,000 square feet.
Mhm.
So if you've got a 1,500 square foot building,
You get to
you'll
go
only be able to have
500 feet.
square feet.
Yeah, if it's the principal, but if it's an accessory dwelling, you're already at 1,500 square feet, you wouldn't be able to add anything, right?
Right.
Follow what I'm saying?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So because we're mentioning that several times previously, should we mention it yet again here, or do you think it's covered in other sections as an accessory dwelling?
Well, if we had problems understanding it, it might be good to add in that language to make it a little clearer.
Yeah.
I think the more detailed we are, the better we are.
I know it's probably not in there now, just reading it didn't make
Right.
much sense to me.
So what would that language sound like, Charlie?
I'm fine up to the 2,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet if an accessory dwelling. But then again, we're talking about 65%, unless we can just say, or following the square footage requirements of an accessory dwelling. I don't know.
Just say
Just
what
go
you
again,
said.
square
or
footage.
15 Yeah. For accessory dwelling.
Because the accessory dwelling, we're talking about 65% or 1,500 square feet, whichever is lesser, I guess.
Life would just be so much easier if there was no such thing as an accessory dwelling.
Yeah, but we all have them.
Differentiate with the 2,000 square feet as a primary, reference to a primary dwelling, and then it's an accessory.
1,500.
They'd have to follow the calculations of an accessory dwelling or the total square footage of an accessory or total square footage calculations of an accessory structure.
I don't even understand why a non-conforming structure would be allowed to be added on to, but that's just me.
It went through the attorney previously, so it must not
Well,
have,
it was allowed, it is allowed right now,
right.
but we don't have to keep it that way. Like, if you think that's an issue that a non-conforming structure should not be allowed to expand, which kind of makes sense.
To me,
Non-conforming.
to me, it makes sense.
Why would you be able to increase the size of a non-conforming structure?
And most non-conforming structures are built out of popsicle sticks and duct tape to begin with.
Maybe we should look at not allowing an expansion of a non-conforming structure. I mean, you can rebuild on the footprint,
Absolutely.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But what, yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to allow expansion of such a structure.
It has come into play in a few situations.
Well, I'm sure people would like to increase the square footage of their non-conforming.
Well, we're not going to finish this tonight anyway, so why don't we just
Stop here?
mark think on it for this?
Okay.
And anybody can come back with their own verbiage.
Fair enough. Right at this moment, I don't have maybe the best language, but just something that stood
And I
out.
think, we'll stop. We'll go through page 91 and 92 and then we'll stop.
For the BOA, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else in the non-conforming section, guys, so was my,
Yeah.
Either.
the rest of it looks pretty.
So yeah, next time we can pick up on 10.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. There's people that might want to take the ice road to get a stick of gum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Cora wants me to. We have a date.
Well, let's see where my agenda went. Here it is. Future agenda items.
All those that Rich said.
Yep.
Yeah, and there are two CSMs that are going to be arriving at some point.
Okay.
So far, I've communicated with the surveyor that they would be on the agenda for March 4th.
Yeah.
You're gonna talk about like lot width again? I mean, I'm just thinking back to what Arnie's request was.
Yep, definitely.
Can we put that, well, not specifically maybe Arnie's thing, if you want to, sure, but specifically how we're determining S1 districts for lot width. And I think we already came to a conclusion on how to get to that point on calculating, perpendicular to the side lot lines and all that stuff. But just so in Arnie's case, let's say we decide that we can't go with what he's proposing, you deny it, and then he can maybe go for a variance or something on an area of relaxation if he's set on those dimensions. I just don't want to wait around till May or June and hold him up
Right, understood.
unnecessarily.
Yeah, part of that discussion on the lot dimensions is in section 16.
Okay,
Yeah,
So we'll be there soon.
but down to, when we talk about the next scheduled meeting, we should probably have one in a couple of weeks or.
if we want to wait a week and have it in 2 weeks, whatever you guys think, I don't
Yeah,
care.
okay, so anyway, extended public comment, Mr. Paul Brummer.
Just a suggestion, when it comes to signs, it might be not too fast to have something that gets set in public, the zoning ordinance to this day right now, has sign requirements. I want to let the general public know that before they put a sign up, to maybe check the ordinance, or come in and ask the ZA, what are the sign requirements? Before you put up a sign, before you spend buku bucks putting up a sign. There's even some people that put up signs in the past, it's rather elaborate, expensive signs that didn't meet zoning requirements before they do it. It might be better to ask for permission instead of ask for forgiveness.
Yeah,
Granted, there have been some past zoning administrators that didn't do a cheeky thing for enforcement. And who knows, might get a zoning administrator in the future that will do enforcement, then they spend thousands of dollars doing something that doesn't meet the ordinance. It might not be a bad idea offering that and say, hey, please put up a sign, no matter where you are on the island. The zoning ordinance just doesn't cover signs in the downtown area, it's the whole damn island. Just put that, like I said, as a blurb in it. Maybe in the next issue or the following issue, I'm just throwing it out.
anything else?
Unless you want me to. Be careful, be careful with jazz.
I actually think a little zoning blurb in every gazette is a good idea, you know, even if it's just a.
Yeah,
couple
I
of
mean, you got
sentences.
Do that.
one from the town administrator, you have a
Three, you know,
fire department.
yeah,
We could have one. Yeah.
I mean, there is such a thing as selective hearing. And there's selective reading too. People only read what, you know, but still.
Doesn't apply to me, that's someone else.
Dale and I had a few and a couple, and then we took a break because we were going through this, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think it's part of comprehensive plan, you know, educating the public as much as you can on things
Right.
like this. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's a good idea. Also, Rich is working on, do I need a permit? Handout, so that's another tool,
Right, yeah.
another tool in the toolbox, right, Rich?
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Rich, did you ever look what we had printed up about, do I need a permit?
Yeah, I've made some progress.
Okay.
It's still gonna be something over the winter.
Well, we gave it to the realtors for anybody that wanted to buy a house or buy a lot or anything. That was helpful for the public.
Yep,
Next scheduled meeting,
Thinking 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do next week or
Good
two.
with next week.
okay,
I'm good with next week too.
the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the date?
11th.
It's the 11th, Sue Ellen.
Okay, February 11th. What time?
want to do 4 o'clock again? I'm good with that.
I like 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
that's
works for
good.
everybody else.
I mean, the regular meeting should probably be 4:30, so it's consistent with the
Yeah.
general public in my mind.
Well, I think maybe that's why Sam,
This
that's
one
why
we did, yeah.
Sam probably showed up at
Right.
right after, I'm thinking.
Right,
Yeah, that's all fine.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So in limited to this unless there's any pressing.
unless anything comes in, yeah.
Okay,
Maybe we can get through it in the next meeting.
Right.
absolutely.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Paul.
guys. It is 5:25.